Did you turn off the Wi-Fi?
Oh. Good morning. Welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the weekend workout. We invite you to play with your strength. We have our body weight. We have our open space. We don't need much more. Maybe a coffee off to the side. But together, we'll share strength sets and maybe some sips of coffee. Ooh. But right now, get to the floor anyhow, and Lauren will tell us how to assemble in the mermaid man person position.
Come on down.
Ooh. Like a jellyfish
like
down.
a jelly down. For our mer person, because we're in our handstand-ish class, we'll point our toes out. The rest of our body, our knee is in front of our hip. That foot right now is out about 90, maybe working towards that other knee, and the other leg's behind us, keeping that knee towards that line of the hip. Right now, let's just sit up tall. So I want you to try to pull your body square over your front knee and just hold that position. I like to have my hands outrigged right now to keep myself upright. And take a breath. Then, let's rotate our head. Head looks over his shoulder, back to center. Head rotates over his shoulder, back to center. Let's try that one more time. As we do that, thinking that nothing else is moving, but just my head rotating on my spine. We'll do one more head neck from this position. We'll do a light ear to shoulder flexion. If you're going over to that hand that's outrigged, make sure that that shoulder is pulled down and you're not hiking it up into your ear. One more time each side there. Nose is the pivot point, ear to shoulder, back up tall. And last time, ear to shoulder. That feels good. Good. Now for 1 or 2 seconds, because we sit up tall with no hands. And if that's too squishy on the one side, use that hand just a little bit lighter. One finger down. Oh. And then from here, with or without your hands, we'll change legs. So we'll come back so that knees pointed directly out in front of us. We have our toes pointed, the other legs reaching back in line with our hip, and we have those hands out to the side. Check in, is this side easier, harder, same? You?
A little harder.
A little harder, me too. And then from here this time, we'll continue on with our head neck, but we'll reach our head forward like a chicken neck or a text neck, and then we'll tuck our chin back, squishing our nose back, making a double chin. Repeat again. Head, chin reaches forward, chin tuck, back, and then gently relax. Putting that all together for one last head neck, a gentle chin tuck towards this collarbone, and then scrape your chin along a collarbone towards an armpit. Nose goes up the wall, across the ceiling to center, all the way across the room to the other wall. Nose scrapes down, chin towards collarbone, and then finish in center. Head comes on straight. We'll do one more time the other way. Chin towards collarbone. Scrape along that collarbone towards the wall. Nose going up the wall, across the top of the ceiling to the other side. Down that wall. Chin scrapes collarbone to center and comes up tall. For 1 or 2 seconds, can you hold yourself upright on this side? And then gently relax.
Ooh. From here, let's get on all fours and explore our wrists. The fingertips go down first and just stay there. Press the fingertips into the floor to feel the stretch along the phalanges, also known as your fingers. So fingertips down and give those fingers a little bit of spring. Nothing too ballistic, but give them a little bit of energy to feel a good stretch. Then lock those callus lines or knuckles down to the floor. Roll to the inside of the hand, but keep the pinky side heavy. It'll want to lift up, stretch it out, keep it heavy. Same thing when you roll to the outside of the hand or to the pinky side, keep that index knuckle down. Repeat 1 or 2 more, pushing into that index knuckle, rolling center, but keeping the pinky heavy, and then keep the pinky heavy and roll the other way. Then lock those hands down. We're in wrist extension here. How does that feel? Pull the hands to the knees and lean to the left or right. From here, we're just drawing a circle around those wrists. So I leaned lateral. Now I'm out the front, the other side. And can you feel that pull push, creating that circle around the wrists? One more time in that direction. Pull and push on the floor. Feel that tension build in the wrists and check in with that. Is it feeling good and safe? Let's progress to some hands crawls and things. Or, I don't know about these hands. Lauren switched directions, so we'll switch it up too. Feel the ground, pull and push. Keep those elbows straight. Last little circle here for me. In a moment, we'll be finishing the circle in center, and then we'll be pushing so much forward that the hands come up, flicking the wrists, and adding that little shake. From here, let's return to a seated position in a split, keeping the lumbar spine long. If again we feel a little slouchy, pick your bum up on a pillow or a cushion of some sort to keep the spine beautifully extended the way Lauren's showing here. She's already said this is our handstands practice, so we should practice pointing those toes and sitting on our butt cheeks here. Take a breath in. Reach a hand forward. Push the sternum forward too. That allows us to keep that spine nice and long. Build that tension through the adductors, and then sit back up a little taller. That should ease away the tension of the groin line. Repeat again. Lead with that sternum pressing forward and maybe tiptoeing those hands out front. Keeping your chin neutral, so looking between those hands out in front is a nice safe place for the head and neck. Hold this place, and then again, ease off that tension to sit tall. Let's repeat that one more time. Each time, does your body allow you to go just that little bit further? Or does it tell you what the heck is going on? Listen to your body. Give it those confidence-building exercises to build tension and safely come back home to our tall sit. Hopefully we can come back to those splits in today's practice. But until then, hips more with Lauren's lunge.
Nice. From here, we'll bring those legs back to center. Hold on. More for that later. And then we'll come up into a kneeling lunge position. So from your tall kneel here, let's pull one leg up in front. With that leg up in front, we either have that toe tucked at that back and the straight ankle, or a pointed toe out the back, but also in line with the leg. From here, we'll gently hike a hip up into the ear and then pull it down. Do that same thing one more time. Hike it, pull it down. Once it's down, let's tilt the pelvis forward so we have that light arch in the low back, and then we'll tuck it under, pulling the floor together underneath us. Repeat again. Light tilt of the hips to the back, and then light tuck under. From that tucked under position, we should already feel some tension in the front of our hip flexor. So we're driving down in this front leg, pulling it in. We're pushing down in the back leg, tucking the hip and squeezing it. So we have the scissor action in the hips here. Let's keep that scissor action and gently start drifting forward. As we drift forward, we keep our shoulders stacked over top of our hips. And again, we keep that core braces to not arch that low back. Once we're in our most forward point, stay but relax. Whew. Then retuck that hip, re-push down and pull on the floor. And this time we're going to press forward to stand, to get back to tall, but keep extending that back hip forward. Keep extending, and then gently relax. Woo. From there, we'll pull that leg underneath, and we'll repeat on the other side. Other leg comes up. Again, that back toe is tucked or pointed straight behind you. We'll go back to the hips where we hiked one, pulled it up, and then pulled it down. And lifted it up and pulled it down. And then from here, we tilt anterior or spilling the punch out the front, and then tuck the hips under. When I'm referring to the punch, it's as if your hips or that pelvis or that bowl of punch, we're spilling it forward, and then we're scooping it to keep it level and tucked. With that nice level punch bowl, we have that back hip extended. We're pushing down and pulling on that front foot. Feel the tension isometrically without moving, and then slowly start to drift forward, 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 keeping that back hip extended. In that most forward place, gently relax but stay. Then retuck and squeeze. And this time we'll press forward to go back, meeting that tension up tall, tall, tall. Keep extending that back hip. And then easy off. From here, we'll pull that leg underneath and Get into the down dog.
Down dog. Hands back to the floor. Callus lines, screw in the hands.
Excuse me.
Tip your tailbone to the ceiling. Press the hands forward, and again, raise towards an A-frame or a down dog shape. Keep the knees soft and re-tip that tailbone to the ceiling. Feel the extra stretch, and then return, knees to the ground on all 6 points. And rest. The hands will be pressing forward. Feel that tension right away. Then pull the knees into the hips, which lift them off of the floor. From there, tip the tailbone to the ceiling and raise towards that A-frame, and again, breathe. Tip the tailbone again. It probably can go more, gently encouraging those knees to straighten at the same time. Return the knees towards the ground. Relax just for that second. Take a breath. And the final time here to stand. Push the hands forward with straight elbows. Pull those knees into the hip flexors there, and they should hover off the ground. Then lift towards that A-frame, re-tip that tailbone, and walk hands to feet, taking your time, and assemble either in your fold or in your hinge. I'm in my hinge. Push the feet forward, Lauryn in her fold, and extend the hips to tall. And check in. From the ground to now standing, we'll continue to work on this in this exercise practice with some squats and then the zoo exhibits. Lauryn is the most special creature of them all.
Yeah, thanks. We won't imitate that. That could be embarrassing. We have 5 exhibits to go to today in the zoo, but before we get back to our wrists, we're going to squat quickly.
All right, so we'll start squats today in the parallel position. Feet parallel. It's those knees over toes, keeping the hips over the feet. Repetitions of 5. This is 1. Extend those hips through to tall. And again, pull the heels back or under to make room for those knees in front. And extend those hips through. It's like a broad jump. We load up in that broad jump, and then those hips come forward with us as we stand. 2 more repetitions, knees over toes, heavy feet, press down to grow up, cramp those glutes, and then last time, knees over toes, extend all the way through, and then let's just find a little balance there. The straight line, it's those ribs to hips, butt cheeks extending through. Take your breath, and slowly, with straight knees, return to the ground. And then shake. And now it's Lauryn's turn.
Now it's my turn. All right, zoo trip number 1. We're going to the usual exhibit, the elephants. What that means is we'll get to the floor back to that A-frame position, and then we're going to crawl around opposite hand and foot. Let's get there through our fold. We'll tuck our chin. We'll roll ourselves forward, trying to forward flex every vertebrae here, keeping that weight towards more the front of your foot than the back. Trying to keep your hips stacked over your heels. Once you're here, we're going to walk ourselves out. Let's bend our knees slightly and do the same thing we did last time with Ian. We tilted the tail to the ceiling, and then we lifted and tried to straighten those knees. Now with that nice long spine, maybe you choose to stay stationary or taking a couple steps forward and backwards, opposite hand and foot. Feel the push with those fingers as we did in the warm-up, pressing the floor away. Trying to keep that contralateral gait here as we step in the forward direction. And then either once you've run out of room or you feel like you've done enough, try going backwards. Have you ever seen an elephant walk backwards?
I'm not sure if that's rhetorical or for me.
I don't really know what the answer is.
We did watch an elephant video last night.
Yeah. And then from here, we'll walk those hands back to those feet, engage the core, and stack back up to tall. Head is last to come up.
Yeah, we did watch some animal videos last night, and maybe that alligator will show up a little bit later today. We'll start in parallel feet to start, then pivot on those heels to our first position. We pull in to descend in our squat, push away to grow tall. Again, repeat, pulling in to descend between those 2 panes of glass, and press away. Excite those quads and glutes. Rep number 3, we pull. Get a little lower with the pull and powerful up with the push. 2 more, heavy tension under the feet, just like those hands in our crawls, and then press through. Final repetition, we pull. Stay. Could you pull more? Stay. Then press to tall, extend. Now press down through straight knees, grow up nice and tall, keep those hips forward, rib cage down, hold for a second longer, and slowly return the heels to that first position. Then we can shake. Back to the floor, continuing the zoo exhibit.
To the bear.
The bear.
This time we'll hinge to the floor. We'll chop our hips, pushing them back, keeping those shins vertical, hips high. Hold that for a second, feel that load through the hamstrings. And then we'll slowly tip forward, and let's come down to a 6-point position. So that means our knees are under our shoulders and they're on the floor, our toes are tucked. Let's pattern this bear crawl for 2 steps forward, keeping our knees down. Opposite hand, foot, and knee, lift. So step forward and step forward. As we go here, 1 more step forward. Now let's try going backwards. Same thing, contralateral, opposite hand and leg. As we do this, imagine there's a bowl of water on your back and you don't want to spill it. Now realign those hands underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. This time we're going to tuck, and if you'd like, we'll lift our knees slightly off the floor and do that same crawl pattern. Opposite hand and foot. Now that bowl of water is really going to sloosh around unless you keep that core brace. So keep that tight. We'll try 1 more step forward, and then we'll go back to where we came from. Reaching, flicking that floor away, trying to keep the strides fairly short, staying underneath our body. From here, tilt the tailbone, lifting the hips up to the ceiling. Walk the hands back to that hinge position, and then press to tall. Whew.
Nice. Squats, continuing. Opening up that stance to the second or the sumo position. Push the feet down into the ground and out. Cramp up those glutes. And then pull to descend. Pull low to your safe low. Then press to tall. Fully extending glutes and those knees. Pull again, creating that tension to guide us down against gravity. Then press to tall. And then again. Rep number 3. Perhaps you're getting lower with each set, or perhaps you're changing your stance just a little bit to make it right. 2 more repetitions. Pull, push to tall. I liked it a little bit narrower. And 1 last time. Pull and push to tall. And then our balance. Perhaps grab on to something stable, so don't reach for Lauryn there. That's not fair. But drive down, hips through, ribs down, maintain your breathing, and press back down to the ground with control. Hold together, shake it out. The zoo exhibit continues, Lauryn. Where are we going?
You know what's opposite the bear? An upside down bear.
Ooh.
A crab.
A crab.
Yeah.
Down under.
So let's get to the floor any way you want. The only rule is don't put your hands down. Good. And if you had to put a hand down, no problem. I can't even tell. From here, we're going to explore our crab position, and then we'll decide whether you'd like to walk or not. Our crab position is our feet pointing forward, our knees bent, our hands behind us, fingertips pointing backwards. Let's check in with our shoulders first. Right now I'm chilling in my blades. I'm going to push the floor away and engage those lats. Now from here, let's spend a couple seconds and push into the floor and lift our hips up towards the ceiling. From here, I like to personally look at the ceiling. You could have a little bit of that C or that flexion in your neck. Whichever you like to do, keep pushing, keep extending those hips for 3, 2, and then easy off. If that's enough for you, try that again. If you'd like to join us on a crawl, it's going to be that opposite hand and foot. I'm going to be going in the forward direction. I think that's forward and then coming backwards. So here we go. Our hips stay as high as possible as we take that opposite hand and foot step. Pushing through those fingertips, keeping the hips up. Once you're done, go back to where you came from. Breathing, hips and glutes, feeling that you're taking off.
I was focusing on my hands there and I lost it.
And then bring the hips down.
Man.
It was funny.
Oh, there's been blunders online before. There'll be more. Oh, those triceps, Lauren, those kill the triceps.
Yeah, they do. Somebody said that to me. That's why my triceps are sore. Okay, now we have to stand back up. The only rules are no hands.
No hands. Hi-ya. Lots of ways to do that. Lots of ways to act like animals too. And one more time on a squat, this time on a single leg. So with our feet in that parallel position, let's pull up to balance on a single leg. Pull that knee in tight, keep the hip forward. From here, it's that knee over toe. Hang on for a balance, extend the hip through, and repeat one more. Test that balance in other ways. As we transition towards hand balances in a second, single leg balances of all kinds will help that practice. That's 2, just shake it out and repeat on the other side. Pull into center, cramp up the glutes in extension, then allow the hip and knee and ankle to bend as we go low and extend through. Holding for time, challenge as you need, and then one more time now, knee towards over toe, press through to tall, and reset on the ground. Yeah. Now we're gonna move through, another animal. Go for it.
We have 5 exhibits. We have 2 more, Ian.
Oh, 2 more.
2
Wonderful.
more.
Wonderful.
We have 1 new one and then 1 that combines 2 of them. I know, mystery. First one, lizard. Let's get back to that fold and fold ourselves forward and down. Once you're in your most forward folded point, you're going to walk out to a plank position. For the lizard here today, I'm going to be doing mine stationary and Ian might be crawling around as we go. But no matter what, you're in your high plank position, hands under shoulders, hips up. Now take a single leg, flick the floor away with those toes, bring that foot up beside a hand. Try to reach long out that back heel and long out the front knee and hold for 3, 2. Now keep those hips up, lift the foot off the floor and bring it back to where you got it. Repeat on the other side. If you'd like it to take it for a crawl, you're pushing off that back leg, kicking your butt and stepping forward. Switch legs. We'll do 1 more time each side here. Our spine is reaching nice and long. Reach out that back heel and front knee, splitting yourself. Lift and put it back. Last time here. Shooting energy out that back heel, out the front knee. Lift the front foot, put it back. Hips lift into the air. 1 more time, walk those hands to the feet. And stack yourself back to tall. Whew.
Right on. Let's continue that single leg squat, standing tall on 2 feet to start. Pull up the leg. Stand nice and tall and tight. Knee towards over toe. Now take that elevated leg and tap it down to spot, and you might be able to get just that little bit lower. Then remove the spot and extend the leg through, standing tall. Repeat 1 more. Knee over toe, the safe low that you can. Then spot. Perhaps you can get a little lower. Then lift the spot, extend the hip, own the balance, and resume on 2 feet. Repeating on the other side, pull up, heighten that awareness to those adductors, then knees over toes, tap down, sink, just that little bit extra, then pull the spot away, extend the hip through. Repeat 1 more, single leg squat down, tap down, pull yourself lower, remove the spot, extend the hip to tall. Stand on 2 feet, and then that final zoo exhibit with Lauren.
Elephant meets a crab. I'm going to show you first, and then we're all going to do it together if you want, or pick one of the 2 animals. We'll start out in our elephant. Then we're going to take a single leg, flick, reach the sky, start open up so much you pivot. Open to your crab, hips lifted. Then it'll go hand lifts first, feet follow, reach back to your elephant. We'll try a couple rounds of those, and then we'll move out of the zoo. So, yeah, this is good. First, get yourself out into that nice elephant position, either staying here or rolling around with us. We'll lift a single leg up to the sky, reach it open, feel that nice long stretch through that psoas and ab. Then foot will find the floor. You're pivoting on your hand, hips up, hips up, hips up. Hand leaves the floor, reaches over. Feet pivot, back to your elephant. One more time in this way. Foot reaches open, pivot to the crab. Then, last time, hand reaches, rotate, pivot to your elephant. We have to go back to where we came from. Other leg flick, reach it over. Make sure the crab's out of the way. And then crab hips up high. Back to that hand to reach first. And the legs follow. Trying to keep that spine nice and long. Tailbone tilt to the ceiling. One last elephant to crab. Reach. Open. Breathe. Hips stay up in that crab position. And last time, hand. Feet pivot. Hips lift. Slowly make your way to standing. Whoa, that's one for the books.
Whew. There we go. It is now time to progress from the zoo exhibits into our favorite ways to enter into the handstand. There's the tripod, there's the step in, and then the tuck. Let's work through all of those, taking your time. We'll go in this I go, you go fashion, and Lauren's team will go first. If you're ready to do your tripod handstand, get on the ground, let's do it with Lauren. And if not, listen to me, and then we'll do it together in a moment. The tripod, we set up with open hands, shoulders right over top of those wrists, and little baby airs to start. Little airs. Beautiful, Lauren. Hang out right there. We're looking to be very quiet.
I can't hang out there.
Then do it again then.
Oh, okay.
So repeat those repetitions. Sorry, yeah, don't hang out. That's a little bit of Michael Jordan hang time style. That's pretty hard. But as we figure this out, try to get yourself towards upside down and down with control. The dragon breath might come through, but no crash bangs. Nice and quiet.
All right.
If you watch Lauren, join me. Or just watch again and figure some more out on how to improve your entry.
One step before baby air might even just be lifting to a 3-point position, taking 1 foot away, like that. Excellent. If you want to add some air in, little hip hop step to get some air time, hang time. As we're doing this, we're trying to keep the elbows super straight. Our shoulders are slightly elevated because we're pressing the floor away in that protracted and elevated position. As we do this, we're trying to keep our toes pointed, and that lead leg is trying to reach to noon on the clock, so straight up overhead, with the other leg out the back, creating a little bit of that L. Right now, Ian's at that 1 o'clock point.
Oh, always chirping that 1 o'clock. It's so hard to find midnight, but over today's practice, we hope to do that. Let's repeat that one more time.
Yeah.
Does your wrist and body say that that's okay? If so, let's do it. Set up in the tripod. Kick, point, hold, and down. Beautiful repetitions. 4 to 5 reps here. Nothing too crazy in those numbers. And groove that habit with strength, with control. And as Lauren's doing here, maybe even switch that takeoff and landing leg. Practice both sides. It'll make your great side greater and your okay side a little bit more better. So practice both. Let's do it again.
A little bit more better.
Yeah, I like that.
Better than betterer.
Yeah.
All right. Hands gripping the floor, elbows straight, and screw in. Stack your shoulders and hips first. Push yourself over first so you try to avoid that elbow bend. Breathing. If you're worried about kicking too much and falling over, leave that leg back there in that L shape and you'll never go over. Remember to breathe, flicking the floor away with that toe point, keeping the ribs to hips, taking some time off, shaking it out.
Shake. Let's open up your stance to your second or sumo and work on a little bit of weight transfers here, integrating and resting those hands.
Are you okay?
Pull.
Right side up, Ian?
Yeah.
Okay.
Pull
Sometimes
yourself down into that squat. Press off both legs and assemble on one. Hold for a second. Point. Land toe ball heel and repeat. Push out. Hips through. Point. Land toe ball heel. Sometimes you have to rush. Other side, climb the leg. point, land, toe ball, heel, and repeat again. Climb the leg as you can. For now, let's keep those hips level and land. A couple more each side. Start low. Lauren's climbing either low or high, straighten the leg, and land. Low or high, straighten that leg, and land. Last one here, climb, extend, land, and final repetition, climb, extend, land, push, wiggles, shakes, and second variation of our handstand entry. My favorite is the step in. So again, watch Lauryn or follow along. I go, you go, Lauryn step in. Starts with that performance enhancing t-shirt tuck, then the point out front. Those elevated shoulders.
Am I going or are you going?
Those elevated shoulders and going into the first set of handstands. And press through. It stays quiet. Choose your leg, perhaps scissor, and alternate that takeoff leg. Low numbers of reps. We'll do 2 sets of this as well. Elevated shoulders, step and press into the floor to grow up tall. Lauryn says last one. Just like that, and out. Our turn now.
Our turn.
Cue us up, Lauryn.
So arms start overhead, elevated shoulders reaching, but keeping the ribs to hips in that tuck position. Then pointing, flicking the floor away. In this one, we like to scissor our legs, so we're alternating that takeoff leg here. As you're doing this, that elevated shoulders, floor pushing away, ribs to hips, point towards the ceiling, and soft landing. Remember, again, if you're still worried about kicking all the way over, keep that leg out the back in that L shape. We're trying to create a nice straight line up to the ceiling, as if somebody's pulling you up nice and long. Trying not to get into that banana.
Right on. Those ribs to hips. Second set for Team Lauryn. Point those toes. Press away to stand nice and tall. Remember to breathe. Right now, you might be focusing on the hands or focusing on Lauryn's gorgeous line there. Make sure you're breathing, and if you can, start thinking about those other things like hand control, elbows straight, shoulders shrug, ribs to hips, and the toes pointed. You're doing really well. Keep thinking about all of those things. Focus on one, and then shake it out and rest.
Shake it out. Have those hands ready to grip the floor. Fingers spread out wide. I like to step into this position with already a braced core. So the ribs to hips are already engaged, and I'm not fighting for that while I'm upside down, trying to avoid that banana shape. Nice. Pointing the toes long, reaching up to the sky. Elevated shoulders, flicking the floor away, soft landing.
Nice. Let's return to that Shiko squat variation of sumo stance feet. The goal is to perhaps get lower, not necessarily wider, but find your favorite place to be in your squat. Pull yourself down, push yourself up, challenge your balance, climb the leg, point, land. Again, balance, climb, point, land. We're breaking some of those ballet rules now. So climb, hips extend, then lean one way, lengthen out, toe ball heel, push through, climb, hips through, legs straight, and down. Let's go one more time each side. Balance, climb, lean, reach, toe ball heel, and final repetition, hips forward, climb, lengthen, and land, and press the tall. Heel toes back together, shaking it out. One more set of our handstand entries here being the tuck. One of the more challenging repetitions, Lauryn will start in her cannonball shape, 2 hands on the ground, knees in tight, and keeping her credit cards tucked into her hip flexors, trying to get those hips overhead. Butts are heavy. Beautiful, beautiful shape here, Lauryn. And continue for 3 to 5 repetitions. Again, one of the more challenging entries here. Beautiful pose, toe points and everything, Lauryn. Very well done. And finish on a great rep. finish on that great rep.
Oh. Finding enough, but not too much, power to get those hips balanced over the head with that load of the back. Remember, don't drop your credit cards, otherwise I get them. So, I get them.
Oh, darn it.
I got so much money there. Try to keep that hip flexion. Even if you don't get as high, we're jumping into this, breathing still. Fingers are everything that we have in our usual handstand. Fingers spread out, elbows straight, elevated shoulders.
And that little shake there. One more set, even if it's one more great rep. Keep those hip flexors in tight, as Lauryn has said, compressing for core strength. 2-foot bounce, pause, and land. This is one of the harder drills to breathe throughout, but take that extra time, just like Lauryn did right there. And if we can take the time and relax, it's amazing what can happen. Great rep.
Just recovering. Whew. All right, one more time in that tuck position, Ian. You'll see how earlier in the warm-up we use those toes to flick the floor away, and that's incredibly important here. As you take off those 2 feet, that's good. Try to stay tucked, but that was good.
And that's the problem. I thought I was tucked.
Oh, you'll have to do a replay.
So having the replay, having that extra eye there.
You were at like 90 degrees.
It can show the places that you need to refine still. Shake it out. We have one more time in those legs. Open up to that sumo stance. Pull yourself to your safe low, and then we'll just practice some slide and glide here. Pull the heels together to descend. Pull one way, go the other, complemented by the push towards a straight leg. Now keep the hips where they are. Pull into the floor to bend the knee. Once we feel that preload, push through the other side. Repeat. Don't go anywhere yet, but pull as to bend the knee. Then push to the other side. Once more each way. Add that tension on the adductor to pull and bend on the knee. Then push through the hip on the other side. Final repetition, stiff leg. Pull it down in the ground. Bend it to center on this one, and then push equally through both. Stand up tall. Heel toes together. Hips on fire, but polite, warming, glowing fire. And maybe not on today because it's hot already.
1 minute of fun.
1 minute of fun. Ooh, I'm ready.
Your favorite thing you've done today. Could be a squat. You could be doing that for a minute. It could be an elephant, a bear, a crab, a lizard, an elephant crab, a step-in entry, a tripod kick up, or tuck position, or you just hang back, drink your coffee, and enjoy 1 minute of free time. Whatever you do, have fun. We go in 5 seconds. Whew. It might get a little quiet. It gets a little intense here. In 3-ish. 2, 1. Oh, I'm tired. Okay. We have 10 seconds. We have 10 seconds left here to that full minute. 5 seconds. 3, 2, you did it, Ian. A minute.
I did it. Oh, but you see how hard that last second was? Oh my goodness. I'm fine. I need to get low. I've never done a minute. And that was pretty darn close. That still might have been 59. Oh, that was so
We didn't have the digital
hard.
out. We had the old analog.
Oh my goodness.
We ran up an analog.
But I know that at the beginning of today's practice, I wouldn't have been able to do that 1 minute. But by taking time with the wrists, checking in with Lauryn's crawls, working on our balances, we can prepare for cool, fun challenges. So that does conclude the handstand component of today's practice. Do your abs feel good? That compression word showed up a lot. Let's go back to Lauryn and work on the compression styles for the abs.
We're going to do 2 different versions today. We're going to do our usual one and then a new one. For this usual one, we have our legs pointed out in front of us, that light grip on the floor, so our shoulders are packed and we're engaged in the lats. Now from here, toes stay pointed the whole time, knee stays straight, it pulls in a little bit, and then it lifts and holds for 3, 2, tap down. Other leg, straight knee, pull it in, lift it up, 3, 2, tap down. Repeat again, lift, hold, 3, 2, and tap. 3, 2, and tap. Now 2 legs lift, 3, 2, and tap. You're still glowing in your 1 minute. 3, 2, and tap. Nice. That works. From here, we're going to really hope that this software update doesn't happen in the next 10 seconds. And if it does, I'm really sorry. I had a great time. Something's just appearing on our computer screen. We're going to try to go out from a V sit, extend back to this sit. So we'll be in our V-like position. Maybe you just stay here and hold. If you want to add more, we reach along away from center and we pull back in and repeat. Reach along the way, pull to center. Let's do 6 more. Long and pull. We're maintaining that hollow body position as we go out into that extension. What that means is we're keeping the ribs to the hips. We're extending long and we're breathing. I said 6 more and then I stopped counting. Last one, hold, 3, 2, and then soft down. Nice, looks like we made it through the update, okay.
Made it through. Made it through Saturday morning with you, Lauryn, and with you at home. So thank you very much for being here. We look forward to doing it again. Let's play with our strength another day, whether it's live on Saturday mornings at 8 or in the archive thereafter.
Anytime. Thanks for joining us. My name's Lauryn.
And I'm Ian.
Tomorrow morning in the archive for the morning routine. And then check out the link letter Monday for our routine for next week.
Awesome.
Until then, take care, stay strong, and we'll see you soon.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Yeah, 1 minute.